Lane with Coach Trishanna.
Yeah, time to empower, educate, encourage your women to motivate you. So, whatever you've been going through, we can talk about it. We ain't passing no judgment. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your will looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. Tune into your late talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more will we feel isolated and cast aside. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. It's your lane talk show with Coach Trishanna.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Your Lane Talk Show with your coach Trish Hanna. Happy Sunday, everyone. Broadcasting live from the beautiful Nassau, Bahamas. I live where you vacation. All right. Yeah. Anyone been to the beach today? Who been to the beach today? I did it. Yeah, no. Okay, fine. Whatever. All right. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. We give God thanks that we did not have any type of impact, effects, issues with this weekend. We all know what we're talking about, right? Right. To God be the glory. We're still here. We could still run around. We could still play around. We could still go in the waters because the waters aren't really raunchy today. They're quite fine, smooth waters passing here. Coming from home, coming here, the waters were beautiful. And so, hello, Yolanda. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Thank you so much, Nadia. Girl, I don't have my props for you. I can wait till that time come. And thank you for the am I saying thank you, Father? I pray too much. That's what's going on here, right? But it's good. Thank you to those my continued listening audience, those especially on Facebook who are always keeping the Facebook live lit. We are open for questions today. I can't wait to share what's going to happen. But before I do, I just want to say that Your Lane Talk Show was created to educate, encourage, and empower women of all ages. We talk about everything. We anything taboo, the things that are not being mentioned in church, the things that may be mentioned probably once or twice, and then they just sweep it under the rug. Things that mama didn't want to say because mama was too shy to talk about it. Yeah, we talk about those things. We bring professionals, we bring people who have experienced issues and then they come and they testify. We talk about everything, and this once again is to educate, encourage, and empower. We don't want to say that we are here as women in this earth, we're just walking through life. We're not getting the information that we need. All right, it is through knowledge that the just is delivered. Right, yeah. So it's through knowledge, and you can't say Trishawn didn't help y'all with a little bit of knowledge. So when Trishawn goes, she going out empty. Right. All right. So last week, listen, we had with us Pastor Kevin L.A. Ewing on in the studio. Right. This was a part 2 of Q&A sessions, right? It was phenomenal. I mean, people from all over the world, all walks of life, were pitching in, asking questions, primarily about dreams. If you were tuning in, if you noticed, last week's show was more about dreams than anything else, surprisingly. And I just wanted to share with you that all of us have the ability to interpret our dreams. We have the ability. You know what it requires? Of course, it requires fasting and prayer. It requires being still and asking Holy Spirit for revelation. So there might be times where he's available to provide what he may have, or what you may think is the interpretation, or what he would have as the interpretation. However, the best person, and he said this as well, to ask is Holy Spirit. Allow him, because he's the one who obviously knows all the information, because sometimes you may have some bits and pieces missing from your dream, and then Pastor Kevin can only say what you've provided for him, right? And it may be a little off sometimes. So learn to interpret your dreams by yourself. There are lots of books. In fact, he has on his website and his apps lots of different information to help you interpret your dreams. And I have with me one of the books from him, Prayers That Work, that actually have prayers in here to help you remember your dreams and to help you to interpret your dreams, and all anything pertaining to life is in this book. So I didn't have an opportunity. There were like three more books that were left over from last week. We had like five giveaways last week, and all five of them came and claimed. And listen, yeah, they didn't tell me their lives done changed. It's only been a week. I don't know what's going on, but listen, prayer changes things. Prayer and using the word of God when you pray, because you ain't just randomly praying, you're using the word as ammunition. And so I'm going to give you an opportunity today to win this book, especially if you live here in Nassau, Bahamas, and especially if you are considering or thinking about in some way, I don't want to get you in problems. WhatsApp this number, 376-8689, if you are contemplating divorce. I don't want you call and then say all your government name and then the husband here and I ain't into that. All right. We here to keep the marriages and to strengthen marriages. So the number to call, 376-8689. If you are contemplating divorce in any way, the very first person to WhatsApp me, this book is yours, because this book is going to pray for your husband, help you, because this is just a guide. You're going to be able to pray your own prayers eventually, but this is just a guide that has biblical references for you, for when you pray, you know how to pray, and ways to pray and the words to use to pray. It prays for your wife. So yes, we do have male listeners. I actually had one yesterday to an event that we went to, and he could just list off all the shows that I had, the ones that he listened to specifically. And he's like, man, I listen to you all the time because I need to know what's going on. Yes, sir. Continue to listen. Tell your boys and tell your boys to listen in and tune in, because you're gonna learn a thing or two. I promise you. All right. And so if you are going through something in your marriage right now, WhatsApp me, don't call. 376-8689. You live in Nassau, Bahamas. The book is yours. All right. So let's move on now. If you want to watch the previous shows, because Pastor Kevin did Q&A with Pastor Kevin L. Ewing 1 and Q&A with Pastor Kevin L. Ewing 2. Both of those and much more you can find on YouTube. Just search Coach Trish Hannah, Your Lane, episode 67, Q&A with Pastor Kevin L. Ewing, part 2. Now, when you go there, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Help your sister out. But you're not just doing this just to help me out, You're doing this so that you can know what all the other upcoming events are, giveaways are, past shows that you may not be able to watch. Some Sundays you're lazy, you don't feel like doing nothing, you just want to lay off and just sleep, right? And then sometimes we have an event. Speaking of events, when is this? September. In the month of at the end of this month, we're actually having, I think Anita Rule is going to come in to talk a little bit more about that. But in this particular event, it's called Becoming Women's Empowerment Summit, that will take place on September 24th. That's a Sunday. And unfortunately, I won't be able to attend because, of course, I'll be in preparation for this particular show. But I'm also giving you an opportunity, two people, an opportunity to win tickets. So I want you to tune in for that. All right. We've already given it. Well, not your lane, but Trishawn has already given away one. And so your lane will be given away two today. All right. So the number to call, I'm letting you know in advance, is 328-8174. That's a beast. I can't remember. 328-8174. You sure? That ain't Uncle James' number. You're calling off now, eh? 328-8164. I'm sorry. I don't want you to get cussed out today. Ah? Who you calling? Wrong number, sweetie. I please don't get cussed out today. All right. So I need y'all to tag a friend. I need you to tag a friend. I need you to tag a coworker. The ones who are always complaining first thing in the morning what their husband do over the weekend and how their husband ain't come home and all these different things. Tag them. All right. I want you to tag even the singles, because this show, even though we speak mostly up to married couples, we speak, our topics are mostly based on marriages, etc. for those especially who are, engaged to be married, or for those who are contemplating marriage, this event, these topics are for you as well, because you want to know what not to do and what to do during that time. So everyone benefits from different shows that we have. And of course, it's not primarily marriages. We talk about health, we talk about fitness, and all those other things as well. But if you're single and you know at some point in your life that you are going to get married, these are the different topics that you need to listen to, because you want to be equipped. It's better to know than to just go into something and just mess everything up, mess your life up, right? This topic for today is to help you understand the Bahamian laws and reasons for divorce. To the international guests, some of these laws may not apply to your country, all right? But still tune in, because you still learn something. And I also want to give a disclaimer to say that I'm a strong advocate for healthy marriages. So don't think that this show has been prepared for you, like I trying to set you up to go divorce. I ain't doing that. I only come in to bring the knowledge, and I'm asking, please do this for Trish, do this for Coach Trish, that you speak to God and ask him to direct you. Ask him for insight, ask him for information, revelation, etc., everything that you need before you make any life altering decisions. All right? Good. All right. So shout out to my girl Nadia Hope Adderley. Listen to me. This is my girl. Nadia, I don't want you to think I'm cheating on you, okay? I just want to make sure we get as many attorneys on this show as possible. Nadia is the main person from the time we started the show. She's been helping us with the insight that she has. She's extremely friendly, extremely knowledgeable. She's open to the questions that have been posed to her. And of course, you could look at the previous shows when you go onto the YouTube page and see that she's highly skilled in what she does. We had the last show Nadia was on. We had a man that came in the parking lot to ask her questions. I was like, Lord, where's the security? Where's the security, Jesus? But that's just how much she knows and how much insight she has, and people want to come from wherever they are to get as much information. So shout out to Nadia. Thank you so much, Nadia Hope Adderley. May God continue to bless you and your family. All right. And so, yes, I already said that we're going to bless two winners for two people to win a chance to go to the Becoming Women's Empowerment Summit. We're going to have the founder as well as a few of the panelists come at the end of the show so they can talk a little bit more about it. Now, my predictions for this episode, I would think 85% aha moments. So that's what you say. 85% aha moments, 10% teardrops. You think teardrops? No? Why? Ain't nobody crying?
We ain't trying to encourage no divorce.
No, we encouraging no divorce.
Encourage what to do.
Okay, fine. So let's say 15% laughter. Sherita ain't that funny. Sherita ain't that funny.
No, Sherita's too serious.
This is, and the capacity that Sherita's coming in is quite serious. So let's just say 95% aha moments, 5% teardrops. And the teardrops is because you have some people, I assume, who may be like, you know what, God, I don't know what to do. I hear what you're saying, but this is hard. This is a lot. I want to do what you do, but I don't see. And I have a talk to the audience moments. Of course, I'll elaborate a little bit more about that. But I can understand a woman who's like at her wit's end, and enough is enough. And she wants a way out, but she just don't know how. So, honey, the show is for you. The show is for you. All right. Again, a little emotional there. So the number to call, like I said, is 3288164, because we'll be accepting questions. You can also WhatsApp your question anonymously to 3768689. If there are international calls, that's fine. It's 1242 before the numbers. So 1242-376-8689 or 1242-328-8164. Now, the 328-8164 is when you call in and you ask a question. And then the 376-8689 number is the cell number or WhatsApp number for you to ask your question anonymously. Your Lane episode 76 is entitled, I Think I Want a Divorce. Hence, think. That's a reason why I think it's there. I think I want a divorce. And it's brought to you by Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, John's Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, and Bahama Odds and Ends Beauty Supplies. Now let's go. Y'all ready? Let's go. let me start with my introduction. The guest that I have, this beautiful guest that I have in studio today, is none other than Sherita D. Forbes. She is a she did law at University of Wales, Cardiff in Wales, United Kingdom, where she graduated in 2003 with an LLB honors degree in law and politics. She is a barrister of the Middle Temple Inn and was admitted to the Bar of England and Wales and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas in October 2004. Ms. Forbes commenced her legal career with the Office of the Attorney General, firstly prosecuting criminal cases before moving into civil matters. She later joined Pride Rock Law Chambers, where she headed the litigation department. In August 2009, Ms. Forbes founded Temple Law Chambers. The firm's areas of law have been varied, concentrating on civil litigation, personal injury, estate and family matters, insurance disputes, employment, and industrial matters. During her spare time, Ms. Forbes enjoys reading, traveling, and spending time with her family. Ms. Forbes has been involved with volunteer work with the Project Time community group, which fosters young men and women in the community, teaching young people to read and acting as a part-time fashion consultant. Hello, hello, hello. Ms. Sherita, how are you today?
Wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for joining us at Your Lane Talk Show. You ready?
Yeah.
That's good. Put your mic up a little bit for me. Let's get going. So, I mean, let's just break the ice here a little bit. Now, in my line of work as a marriage coach, right, premarital and marriage coach, I have heard some things. I've seen some things. I'm also a mentor for women. I have a ministry called Chosen Wives Ministry, right, where I get to hear stories about women and what they're going through, and their issues with their husbands, etc. And I know that, as a lawyer and attorney, you get to hear some of these things as well,
Yes.
right? And I want to know, let's talk about some of the matters couples come to you about as reasons to why they would want to divorce.
Well, first and foremost, it's not the couples that are coming. It's just one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's either the husband or the wife who is actually entering into my office.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come, they are coming with a myriad of issues, such as whether it's abuse, because we have a lot of abuse, and it's not just physical abuse. We have financial abuse. We have mental abuse. Those things happen. It may take a little more to prove the mental abuse, but it is there. We have persons who, when they come in, they're coming in with issues. I had an issue where a man was charged with a sexual offense crime against another female. And so that is also a ground for divorce. So what you're talking about is basically a number of grounds for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And those grounds, you will find them in Section 16 of the Matrimonial Causes Act.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things like adultery. There's desertion, where a husband or a wife would have deserted the matrimonial home for
Mm-hmm.
a period of 2 years or more.
So you're getting in now to the reasons, because I just
Yes.
want to know, like, what seems to be the greatest reason? What have you heard the most when someone, because you said they don't come together, they come individually?
Yes, by the time they've gotten to me, they've reached the end of their rope, and this is now, we just want to be severed.
Wow. So let's start first with the males. So when a husband comes to you, how rare is that, by the way?
It's
Is
not
it common?
rare. It's very common in the Bahamas.
For the man to come?
Yes.
Wow. Statistics say differently.
I've done
not
it-
here in the Bahamas, but internationally.
I've done a number of divorces on behalf of the men in the
What
marriages.
would be their reasons? Some of the reasons.
The majority of the reasons are cruelty that I found when they come in. It's one issue or another with regards to cruelty.
Can
Well,
you
that's where you would fall, where the ground, where their issues would fall within that particular ground based on the act. Because
right?
we do have to, whatever issues they bring, we do have to bring it within line with the act. If it's
Right.
if they cannot fulfill one of the grounds that is laid out in the act, then you cannot get a divorce in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So
Right.
let's talk layman terms now. So you said that there are different grounds under cruelty.
Mhm.
So let's be more specific. What would be categorized as cruelty based on the Bahamian men that come to you? What are some of the things that they
Well,
come to complain about?
one of the issues that a lot of men have is that women remove themselves from the matrimonial bed and they refuse to have sexual intercourse with them.
Dun,
That's
dun,
that's
dun.
that's one of the that has been one of the most common issues in the majority of my petitions.
Wow.
It is one of the things that they had a problem with, and they would say that the wives have been doing it for a period of 2, 3, 4 months.
Mm.
And I don't know if you've ever watched Miles Monroe preach before. He talked about these particular issues because these are issues that most preachers would not bring up.
Right.
But he certainly dug into that, and so this is something that a lot of men complain about in the Bahamas. Another issue is the way the parties speak to one another. You find them getting to the point where I don't know where it gets in the marriage, but you find them saying really horrible things to one another. I'm talking like really cursing each other out.
Right.
Words that would bring you to blows. They're saying to one another, and I guess when you live with someone in such a personal way, you get to see them at their best and at their worst. And um, words, people say sticks and stone may break my bones, but words don't hurt me. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. The Bible tells you that every word that comes out of your mouth, you will be judged for.
Mm-hmm.
And it also tells you that you have to watch what you say.
Mm-hmm.
It says that life and death is in the power of our tongue. So you have to understand that
Mm-hmm.
words are very dangerous.
Yes.
You could tell you want to tell your husband or your wife, I hope you go there and buck up. And then they buck up, and then what happened? You're saying horrible things to the person who you said, I will honor you, I will love you, I will respect you until death do us part.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems as if that till death do us part, by the time they reach to my office, that's out the window.
That's out the window.
Yeah.
So, I mean, men, they come to you, literally come to you.
Yes.
They want a divorce because of the words that their wives say to them.
Yes, but I mean, there's a number of things that would lead
Add
up
up
to
or
all
lead
that
up
would
to
add
it.
up to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be just this one thing.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that
Like verbal abuse.
verbal abuse.
Yes.
This happens.
Yes. And y'all know with men, I mean, and the thing about it is, I'm not making excuses for women, but I always say that because women, we have this thing with our mouths, like we use it as a weapon because we may not have the physical strength to really box anyone down. But in most cases, women use their words because they're hurting inside. Now, I'm not giving them the right to do it. I'm just saying that would be the reason. And some people just don't know, hey, I need to have self-control. I need to control what I'm saying, what comes out of my mouth. I have to cleanse my heart so that, because the Bible says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yes.
So you have to be able to know how to, get in the word of God so that you can actually have that discipline to know what to say, especially to a man. Because, I mean, like I said, you can hit a man perhaps and they probably will just get over it the next day, but the fact that you say something to them, they will keep that and they will hold that in until like kingdom come. Only Jesus can come and take that out from them.
And see, what you need to recognize too, as I said, because this is your partner, this is the person who you've spent most of your time with, you've been the most intimate with, you've shared so much with, you see this person each and every day. They know exactly which buttons to push. And I hear you talking about the women speaking. I don't want you to think that the men don't say horrible things.
Oh,
as
the
well.
men says horrible things.
And their speech towards some of the things that I've heard men say to women have been astounding.
Yeah. So the verbal abuse is real out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk. Let's dig in a little bit more. I only focus primarily on the men because we ain't got to the women yet. I focus on the men because we wanted to know what were their reasons. I know the last time I did a topic like this, and I looked at the research, they were saying it was mostly women that come in to call for divorce or request divorce. It's primarily women. So it was very intriguing to find out that you're saying that men, a lot of men come in. Is it more men than women? Because I don't know if you answered
For
that.
me, no. It's not more men than women, but the numbers that I expected,
Yeah.
or the numbers that I would have thought, it is a lot higher than
Mhm.
I had expected. Let me put it like that.
All right. So we know that's what primarily what men come to you for. So when the women come, the wives come to you, and they say that they want a divorce, what are probably like the top three reasons for them?
The first one is adultery. The second one is cruelty, and the third one is the majority of the time there is some desertion. In one party has deserted the other.
Mm-hmm. Let's elaborate on that.
Desertion.
Yeah.
Well, desertion basically is that what the law requires is that you must have lived 2 years continuously away from the spouse, and outside of the matrimonial home or marital home. There was no, you broke up and then you went away for a couple of months and then you came back. No, no, it has to be a continuous period of 2 years or more.
Mm-hmm. And that has been happening here.
In the Bahamas, man, listen, we have plenty of people who have been separated for a number of years. The wife is already having her own separate another relationship with someone else, and the husband is already having his a relationship with someone else, and they have not just gone to the courts and done what is necessary, which is to receive
Legal
a
separation.
proper, not legal separation, because legal separation, you're still married, but a proper severance of the marriage, which is a divorce. So we have a number of persons who are out there who they look single, but they're not really single. They're not single because according to that piece of paper that's in the registrar general department, if you go and you search it up, they're still married. They're still attached. And unless and until one of them goes to court and make a petition to have the marriage severed, they're still married. And a lot of persons out there doing this.
I've heard about some women who've been dating men and they didn't know that they were married. The men were married. Come to find out, when they do the little research, they find out, yeah, you may be separated from your wife, but you are still legally married.
Yes, that happens a lot in the Bahamas. It does.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first break, and right after the break, I want you to break down what the laws are. The Bahamian laws are as reference as far as divorce is concerned. I know you said cruelty and a few others. So, because can we say, I just can't get along with him, man. He's got me mad. So I gonna go for a divorce. Because he always leaving the toilet seat up and he always leaving his clothes on the floor.
It's not going to be that petty. It's not going to be that petty.
Right. So I want to go to Sherita because I'm tired of picking up the clothes on the ground. So can I get a divorce? Right.
You sign up for that.
So look at you. So we're gonna go. We're gonna take a break, and right afterwards, I want you to give us the main reasons and how and the legal reasons for divorce, not these pettiness like you saying, these people saying, because any little thing they want to try and get rid of, irreconcilable differences. I'm wondering if that is one.
We do not have that in the Bahamas.
Oh, there you go.
We had one of our Chief Justice, Barnett. He had once during the opening of the legal year, he had petitioned for it, or he had basically spoken about it, where he felt as if we should do away with Section 16 and just basically have irreconcilable differences. But Parliament, of course, was not moved. So we still have Section 16 with all these different
Let's talk about that after the break. This one juicy. Yeah. All right. Let's go, Beats.
Nikki, what that is you buying from Victor?
Hello to the Facebook audience. Hope everyone is doing well. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and post your questions in the group. post the questions in the group. I'm getting messages, but the messages for the okay, just that threw me right off. All right, so I'll answer that one later. We do have a question for via WhatsApp. I'll ask that one. That question is for you. Two questions are for you. And then if you want to call in and ask Sherita any questions, the number to call is 328-8164. 328-8164. If you have a question that you want to post in the group, you can go ahead and do so as well. Good. All right. You want me to read these questions now or you want to wait till the end? Okay. Thank you, Facebook audience. Let me know when to get back on. You want to read them? And then I'm going to read them out loud. Give you a chance to gather. That's it, a straw gone down in the thing. I need to bring my mug, man. Tumbler. And the reason why I'm holding this to Sani is because they're my clients. Because other than that, I won't be holding up no other people stuff and putting this on here like this.
Noted.
Oh, thank you.
The straw don't come forward
At some point, it'll find me.
Yes.
Okay, both of these are foreigners.
No, well,
Yes,
the
the first
the
one is
individual
saying
is a foreigner.
she
The
said there's
person
two.
who she married. Hold on, let me see.
the first one is saying as a foreigner.
Don't ask, because you still on live.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just wanted you to read them, so that when I do read them, that you would have it, you'll be familiar. Facebook is live. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I thought I told you. That's fine. I'm sorry. I thought I did. Mhm. Okay, so we have that. And then we have some couples, man, who just anyway, I can't wait to talk about it. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too. And talk about couples who just women who are just fed up. They don't want a divorce, but they don't want to be in the situation that they're in. You know?
We live,
And
right?
but they're thinking about
Still
yeah,
live.
we're still
Because
live.
You want me to answer that? You want me to say what
Well,
it could do?
No, not yet. We're
Okay.
gonna do that though.
Okay.
But I'm just letting you know it's just I'm overwhelmed with the amount of things that we go through. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your Lane Talk show. We have with us in studio Sherita Forbes. She's an attorney at law, and she's here to talk to us about the laws of the country pertaining to divorce. Because just before the break, I don't know if you were able to hear that part where she said irreconcilable differences is not a reason for divorce here in the country. But it is so in certain parts of the world, but just not us.
No.
So you can't tell us, first of all, what is irreconcilable differences, and then why isn't it? Well, you already stated why it's not a part of it, but just tell us what that is.
Well, irreconcilable differences is just the two of you can't seem to agree with certain things. There would be something that you just there's no meeting of the minds with in regards to this marriage contract that the two of you have together, that the two of you are living. But that is not something that is in the Bahamas. I know that it's in the United States of America, but it's not a term that's used. Though in our law, or it does state, and in a petition is required to state that there's no possibility of a reconciliation between the parties. You're required to state that there's no way that the two of you are going to get back together. And so we do have that, but it's not a ground for divorce in the Bahamas.
So let's list some grounds for divorce in the Bahamas.
The grounds in the Bahamas, well, there's adultery, there's cruelty, there's desertion for a continuous period of 2 years, there's living separate and apart for a period of 5 years continuously. That is immediately, of course, I should put that it's immediately presenting your petition to the courts. Whether there has been some homosexual act in the marriage by the husband or sodomy, or sexual relations with an animal. That's also there. And the wife can also bring a petition if there is some claim that the husband has been convicted in a court of law with regards to rape or sexual offense against someone.
So let's go through each of them. The first three, what you mentioned were
Adultery, cruelty, and desertion for a continuous
okay.
period
So
of 2
let's start with
years.
those three first. Well, we know what adultery is, but let's, like I said, we speak in layman. So if someone, your spouse, went out and cheated,
Yes.
or on you, betrayed you in one way or another, you can just go straight to the courts automatically.
No, it's not an automatic thing. I think I've heard a statement that says, marry in haste, but divorce at leisure, because it takes a lot longer to get a divorce than it takes for you to get married. All you need to get is a license, and you can have a marriage officer or JP inside the office, marry you, boom, done. But to go through that divorce, you're going to have to have the petition. You're going to have to lay out in concise language all of the issues that would be giving the reason as to why you're getting a divorce, and you will have to outline in the petition as well the whole issues with regards to the adultery. You're going to have some evidence to that. Adultery is not something that can just be proved. You could just say that the spouse had an adultery on, or you followed them and you saw them talking to some woman in their car or whatever, because people are friends and they could just be giving someone a ride or whatever the case would be. But adultery is something that requires a little bit more. It is not on a balance of probability, meaning that you only could balance the probability, which is that the court would consider, okay, listening to all of the information, we would say, okay, well, this is a possibility or it's not a possibility. No, it's a little bit more than that. While it's not at the standard of a criminal offense, adultery is one of the issues that is a lot more difficult to prove. But then again, that's also depending on which judicial officer you're before. Adultery requires that you have some proof of there being sexual contact between the parties.
So it has to be sexual.
Yeah.
It can't be emotional.
No.
Like the texting and all that stuff. No,
it has to be sexual contact between the parties.
All right. So what type of evidence is required?
Well, I've had persons who have come to me with recordings because they got private investigators. Some wives or husbands, they have suspicions first. But suspicion is not sufficient for you to go to the courts with.
Right.
And so once they've gotten suspicion, there are a number of private investigation firms out there in the Bahamas that do this type of work, and they can provide the type of evidence that you require in order to prove it. And I've had...
Y'all accept that from private investigators?
Yes, they write proper reports. You have proper reports that show this is what happened.
I'm just trying to figure out how these investigators get to have the video proof. Because for instance,
well, see, I don't know.
Okay, I try to milk whatever I can get out of you.
I have not gotten any video proof.
Right.
Well, no, actually, I didn't get actual video proof of the act.
Right.
But I've gotten video proof of the going into the home and the,
Yeah, but can you use that? Because you said it has to be sexual. Well, suppose someone just coming in the house.
No, you could like videos of the person you would kiss your husband. Would you let your husband kiss another woman? You would see a video of yes. So it leads up to. And therefore, the courts can now go beyond what is required in terms of a balance of probability. They can go beyond that by seeing what is done and based on the report from the private investigator. Suppose the private investigator had to be there for 3 hours waiting outside the house. All the lights went off, etc., etc.
But that's assumption, though.
No, but then it is beyond. And then on top of that, like I say, you have the videos that lead the video of whatever may have happened, the prerequisite, not the prerequisite, but
Now, I laughing at how I trying to tell the lawyer that's assumption. I ain't nowhere around being a lawyer.
No.
I'm telling you how to do your job.
it is a little bit more,
Uh-huh.
So you would find that there is a little bit more. There are private investigators who are so good that they have these long lenses.
Yeah.
I've seen some long lens photographs that I think they're like paparazzis. We have paparazzis in the Bahamas that I didn't know about. They have these long lens, and then they have these long extra mic with recordings and stuff like that. And then the thing about it is, I've met one or two private investigators, and they are so unassuming. You would never know.
These everyday men just walking there.
Not every day, but it's just that you would never pay attention to this person.
Right.
Like you would never look at this person and think, oh, there's something interesting about you. No, you just walk straight past that person, and that time that person is clocking you.
So what else can be used? For instance, you said only sexual videos, right?
I'm not saying only I never said only sexual videos. I said evidence to prove sexual contact.
Okay.
There was one particular instance I had where a woman's underwear was found. And it wasn't the wife's.
So take a minute. Go ahead. The home, in
his pocket.
In his pocket. Oh, okay.
And it's not yours.
Right.
So
she
who
can use that in court.
Of course.
Yeah.
You could take that, collect that with your tweezers, put that in a plastic bag, and you could have that.
What about text messages where they're saying
that too? It all leads up to it would add to it. All of this extra information would add to making your proof.
Okay.
So that the courts would now be able to draw the inference from all of the evidence that you have to prove that there was an adulterous relationship going on.
I got you. So let's move from adultery, because child, that one juicy. Beats. Now, if you're gonna ask a question, I might as well ask, because I have a few questions up now. So let me let Beats talk first. He's gonna ask a question, and then I'm gonna ask. There's a question on Facebook, and then there's a question on WhatsApp. Go ahead, Beats.
Just thank you very much for taking my question. I noticed that earlier you mentioned that the grounds for divorce in the Bahamas are similarly stemmed around adultery. But there was one.
No, it's a number of. Of different things, yes, but that's one of them.
Yeah. One of them.
Yeah.
But there was one outlier in the adultery that really stuck out to me. You mentioned that was, with another woman or with someone of the same sex. But then you mentioned.
Oh no!
Animals.
If it's someone with the same sex, then that's a different story. That's under sodomy or homosexuality.
Okay, but you mentioned animals, and I'm just curious.
That's also. Listen to me. It's there in the law, I brought my book. It's there.
See, my dad used to study law, and I understand, these laws get passed because there was a case that they had to base the law. I'm just interested, where did this originate?
Now, listen to me. I've never seen a case in the Bahamas. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist.
Right.
I've just never seen a case in the Bahamas where there was someone brought it because of bestiality. I've never seen one. But I'm not saying that it's not there. And don't forget now, our laws derived from the United Kingdom.
No, that's true.
And there was a running joke when I was in university, because I went to school in Wales, and they used to make fun of certain persons a little further down. In the UK. So I'm not going to say anything beyond that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So.
All right. So let me get one of these questions then. Question is, if my husband and I get a divorce and we have assets, how are the assets divided? I don't know if I'm going to do that one yet. Let's go to, can I automatically get a divorce if my husband gives me a sexually transmitted disease?
Yes. Under our act, if that person, because basically that is cruelty. It is not in the grounds for section 6 under section 16, but unavoidable divorces under section 20 and 21. You could actually have your marriage voided completely and say that the marriage never took place if that person, they knew that they had a communicable sexually transmitted disease when they got married to you, and they gave that to you. You can actually go to the courts and get your marriage annulled.
What if it's during the marriage and it happens? I think she's trying to say
Well,
like during the marriage,
afterwards, and then
and he brings it home.
then that's just cruelty. You call that cruelty.
So what would be the evidence that you need for that?
Well, for one, you didn't have, both of you. I don't know what is the requirement with regards to getting married now, because I do believe that person should
get tested
and everything prior to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of tests. I feel as if you should get tested to see if you want to have kids. You should get tested to see if you are capable of having kids. You should get tested for these. So you should get tested also for VDs. And so as far as I'm concerned, if during or prior to the marriage or at the time of the marriage, you didn't have any sexually transmitted disease, and he knew, and you know that he didn't have any because you would have taken these certain precautions by doing this type of stuff, then afterwards, if you know it's not you, then it's only could be him. If it ain't me, it's you, right?
Well, suppose he says, well, it ain't from me either, or you may have been talking to somebody else, or sleeping with somebody else.
Yes,
is there a way for him to counteract?
That could certainly be an argument between the two of them. But then if this wife knows that it's not her, she's the way
she's monogamous.
Yes, the way sexually transmitted diseases, certain diseases manifest. The thing is, with women, it takes a lot longer for women to always become affected than it would for a man. Okay, so when she starts to see changes in her body, and she says, okay, well, let me go to my doctor, because most women, they run to their doctors first. Most women have their gynecologists on call. Right? Especially since also women have to do certain yearly tests. I didn't think I would have gotten into all of this deep stuff.
That's all right, man. You're doing good. That's good.
But so for you now to find yourself having to, you're having these pains or this discharge or whatever it is that you're suffering from, and you have to go to your doctor to find out what it is. And you're thinking that it's something simple. And then your doctor gives you a blood test or whatever test he gives you. And he said, oh no, this is what is wrong. Then of course it is a shock to you. So when you stand up and you confront that person, that you're saying, look, I know that you're now doing this. This is also another way of proving adultery. Because while you may not know who the person is, because then you can also have an unknown woman listed in your paperwork and saying that he would have been in a relationship with an unknown woman. I don't know who it is, but I'm deriving this because of me finding myself with this sexually transmitted disease, which I know I'm not the one who brought it into the relationship. Then now you bring that before the courts, and you can have cruelty, and the courts may or may not grant you on both grounds, but definitely for sure cruelty would be one of the things, because that's an assault on your person.
So the person that asked the question says yes, but is it automatic?
It's what is automatic? You have to go through the procedure. You have to put in your petition. You have to have your evidence. You have to provide your documentation. You have to put all of that there. And then afterwards, you have to stand up before the court and testify as to why you want a divorce and on what grounds you're seeking. It's a process. It's not something that just happens. We don't have automatic divorces in the Bahamas.
Okay, so let's go to the WhatsApp question. And then we'll go back to the Facebook questions, because there are a few. As a foreigner living here, married to a Bahamian man, what rights do I have with respect to custody, children of the children? How should I type this? Custody of the children if a separation or divorce occurs. We were not married here.
It doesn't matter whether you're married here or not. Our law states that the children equally belong to both parents. And so as a result of that, the majority of the times the court would lean towards granting the children to the mother, especially if they're girls, because of a number of issues that we've had facing little girls lately in the Bahamas in the last couple of years, stemming from Bella, which made it so wide range and noticeable. Girls would definitely be the courts would lean more towards the mother, but in any event, once the parent is able to show that they're capable of providing for their children, etc., there should be no problems with the court allowing even a foreign mother to have her children. Most mothers will not leave their children in any event.
No.
This is not the Middle East.
All right. All right. So how long on average does it take to get a hearing date? And this is Facebook. How long on average does it take to get a hearing date and a date for ancillary matters, or can they be done together?
Ancillary matters can actually be done together with the hearing date for the divorce if the parties have come to an agreement with regards to ancillary matters. If there's assets and children and you've already decided how you're going to split them, the lawyers, of course, will come together. I've had an instance where I've met with a very lovely lawyer, because we try to be more conciliatory than adversarial now. And so we were able to come together and sit down and discuss once the papers were, of course, this is after the papers were filed, once they were served. We were able to sit down and discuss, okay, now let's see if we can mediate between these parties what's going to happen to the two children, what's going to happen to the matrimonial home, what's going to happen to any other property, etc. And when we went into the courtroom, we also went into the courtroom with a conciliation position. It's called a consent position. So we had a consent order between the parties. Once the court looks at it and they see that whatever arrangements have been made for the children are satisfactory to the courts, then the courts will say, okay, well, once it's satisfactory, we will sign off on it.
One of this is similar to this other question. My spouse, who is a Bahamian man, often tells me that since I'm so unhappy here and don't want to be his wife, I can go, but I must leave his children here with him. They are both girls. Would I be made to leave my children with him? They are both U.S. citizens along with myself.
No.
Not similar to
once you go to the court and the court will hear both parties, all of the issues. They will look at what is in the best interest of those children. And see, that's what a lot of divorcing couples do not seem to accept, or they don't realize. The rule, the international rule itself, is what is in the best interest of the children. That's the international rules across the board, anywhere in any part of the world. What is in the best interest of those children? And then afterwards, the courts will make it, once the court sees what is in the best interest of the children, if it's in the best interest of the children for the children to be with the mother, the court is not going to rip those children from the mother's arms, especially, like I say, when it comes to girls. That is a serious consideration as well when it comes to girls.
Does paying a bill consistently for a third party in a marriage be evidence for adultery?
Paying a bill consistently. What type of bill? That is too vague.
Yeah, if you can just help us with that question, you can re-type that question or reword the question for us. Too vague. But let's go on. So you dealt with what grounds are we on now? That was
I dealt with adultery, and I told you we spoke about cruelty. About there's financial cruelty. You can imagine. Suppose a financial cruelty. Let me give you an example of financial cruelty. If a wife is a housewife, and the husband is the breadwinner, and of course she has to wait on him to bring the money home to buy the groceries and stuff like that for the house. And can you imagine if he decides, because they had an argument, well, he's not going to give her the money for the groceries for this week.
So, and so I know somebody who's like that. She's a housewife, and her husband goes to the food store and doesn't bring anything for her to eat. Like he just goes to the food store for him and the children, because her diet is different. I don't know if that makes a difference, but her diet, she doesn't eat like with the rest of the family eats, but he refuses to purchase
But
those
she's
type
a
of stuff.
housewife.
But she's a housewife.
You listen to me. See, and I guess this comes more down to biblical. When you decide to take that young lady out of her parents' house, or whether she was living already on her own, depending, because we're in the 21st century, you took on a responsibility.
Snap, snap.
You know.
Mhm.
So
True.
you took on a responsibility. So you cannot treat her like that. The Bible tells every man that if you mistreat your wife, your prayers will not be heard by God.
Your prayers will not be heard by God.
No, and they will not be answered.
No, seriously.
Before God even established a church, he established a family.
Yes.
It was Adam and Eve in the garden.
Yes.
Why these men don't seem to get it?
I don't know.
Anywho.
All right, so she clarified it. She says mortgage. So does paying a mortgage consistently for a third party in a marriage be evidence for adultery?
It to me still it depends on the situation. Because is that third party, his mother, his sister, his auntie, his cousin, before they got married? Was there some other issues? And this is the reason why they was paying? Because I have a situation where the guy got married to his the wife, his young wife, but him and his mother, they own the house. And so his salary still goes out as salary deduction paid for the house that him and his mom had. He cannot take himself off of the house simply because his mom is at a certain age. And also, if she loses that house, then she loses everything. She says that the house is for him. So you have to understand, it depends.
Man, to be honest with you, that's the reason why. See why I tell you singles need to be on listening to the show? If you know, there has to be communication, all right? That's one of the questions. You got to talk about finances. You got to talk about whether or not you want children. You got to look deep down in their generation to see what all going on with their fathers. So if you see the daddy used to drink a lot, and then you see him drinking, and he coming home late and all these different things, whatever have you, those are red flags, all right? As far as communications is concerned, what is it about your finances? Do you have a mortgage? Do you have bills? Do you have extra things that you have to, go and pay for, bills for other people, or you have dependents or whatever have you? And you have to discuss that. And it's not the husband's fault if he already gave you this information and you still marry him, and then later down the line you have a problem with it.
Exactly.
You have to know this information. You have to know these things prior to saying I do. And that's the issue that we're having now. I'm sure you're seeing this, but I'm seeing this also in coaching. It's like, Mom, of course I don't say this, but you know this before you married him. You've seen the red flags before you said I do. And so now you come in here crying. All right, let's take a break. It's starting to get a little excited. I don't get excited. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna go through the rest. And I see a part two, because it ain't like we can finish. We got like 15 minutes. I see a part two because we want to go through all of the laws. We want to go through all of the reasons, because that's the whole purpose of the show. You have people who want to know, okay, what are my grounds? I need to know what's happening. Okay, and then we have some persons
No, but
who
we've actually called off all of the grounds,
No, but I want you to elaborate on them, because
okay.
like how you elaborated on cruelty and adultery. So I'm going to go through the rest of them that you elaborate on. And then we're talking about, there's a question that I skipped. But I want us to go to when we talk about legal separation or marriage, like who gets what, how much do they get, what are the reasons for them to get what they get, etc. We're going to talk about that right after the break. Let's go.
Put your best foot forward this school year by shopping in John's.
Something Jordan mentioned that action quite prevalent in the country. Do you have grounds for a marriage to be annulled? We found out a year or 2 years into the marriage that, hey, your Grammy from Lausanne? I'm your daddy from Lausanne.
Y'all first cousins. Ask that question so the people can hear you. That's a good one while we're on this break. Go Beats.
Is it grounds to have your marriage annulled if you found out later on down the line that y'all like first cousins, not even second? Like your Grammy is her Grammy. Y'all's be to the same cookout. Y'all sit in the same high chair.
I don't know the person, but somebody told me that their relative married their first cousin. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
The thing is, I I have not seen it with regards to voiding a marriage, but I'm quite sure that it is there. But most likely, once something like that is discovered, the courts will definitely give for the grounds for the
Grounds.
divorce. But I'm quite sure that it's something here. I've looked at the issues with regards to
It's a good
void
question.
marriage.
That's something, man. Child, let me tell y'all
There-
something.
you know what?
Uh-huh.
I think it would go under there was no consent, because basically, yes, and consent is very deep for you to get into with regards to something like this, because you would not be consenting if you know that that was your first cousin. And so basically, both of you did not consent to marrying your first cousin, even
Okay.
though previously, and again, remember our laws are derived from the United Kingdom. Previously, before they used to be marrying their cousins and stuff like that. That's the reason why the bloodline of the royal families became so polluted to some extent. And then they started moving outward into other countries, seeking to marry the king from this, and of course, But now,
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that. Right. Welcome back. For those who are joining us, you're late. All right. We have Sherita Forbes here talking to us about the various grounds and reasons for marriage, for divorce in the Bahamas. All right. So your country might be a little bit different. Your laws may be a bit different. Ours stemmed from England.
Yes.
And so we're kind of sort of sticking with that. I don't know if there are going to be any changes. That irreconcilable thing, I do not agree with at all, by the way. And I have my reasons, of course. But we'll talk about that a little later. So my question is, so we did cruelty, we did adultery. Where are we now?
Desertion.
Desertion. Did we discuss
But
that?
we did discuss it.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling you. But
Right.
you had asked me for the first three.
Right, the first three.
And I
All
just
right.
went down the line because that's A, B, and C,
And C.
in the act.
All right, so that's it. So other than that, everything else falls under those three. Or
No,
are
no,
there
no, no.
others?
There are
Come,
more.
let's go.
The next one is live separate and apart for 5 years
Mhm.
or more, and it has to be 5 continuous years.
Mhm. How do you prove that?
They would provide information. They would provide the exact date when either party would have separated.
Mhm.
They would provide the fact that they are now. It would be just basically in their entire petition. They would give all the information. They would state why there was firstly the separation,
Mhm.
and then secondly that since this particular separation, because the majority of the time the separation is because of one of the first two, which is either adultery or cruelty. Okay,
Mhm.
for some reason. So you would find that there was some incident or some incident that was just the last straw that broke the camel's back,
Mhm.
and so one party left, and so the party who stayed in the matrimonial home would be able to make the application stating we've been separated for, or firstly, the party who stayed would say, party X, the respondent, deserted me for 2 years.
Mhm.
Or if it's now 5 years, they could say now we've been living separate and apart for 5 years.
Mhm. Mm. Oh, here's a question here on Facebook. It says, do both parties have to agree for the divorce? What if one party or one person don't want the divorce, doesn't want the divorce?
No. And see, this is the whole thing, because our law, right, in our act, it actually says straight off the bat that the two of you didn't sit down and discuss this divorce and connived with one another to put this divorce petition before the courts.
Mm.
And one of the reasons for that is because there are persons who get involved in marriage of convenience. We have persons who marry parties for the purpose of papers, having papers to work in the Bahamas,
Mhm.
etc.
Mhm.
And so basically, now after this person has gotten their papers and you've lived with them for 5 years, or you've lived with them off and on just so that immigration could come and see that you all have a house,
Mhm.
or whatever the case, and you've been ducking immigration. Now you've now come together and say, okay, listen to me. My girlfriend now wants to marry me, or she's saying, listen, my boyfriend now wants to marry me. Because I've already have these papers now, we could now agree to go and get a divorce. Which one of us can put the divorce papers in? And the next one just saying an answer or whatever the case may be, and we'll just make the application, get a divorce over with, move on with our lives, right? And so that's that's one of the considerations that the court look at when they said, did you agree to have this divorce? Did you connive with one another to have this divorce? This is to avoid issues like this, because if you got together and put that thing together, then that's your business. That's called an illegal act.
What if that's not that way? Let's say you have consented to be married under, love or
all marriages
infatuation,
are
whatever,
consent,
you know.
basically.
Yeah, but what if-
outside of the voidable marriage
right
issues.
So what if something happens within that time frame? You're married, and I think the person is asking, let's say the wife is saying, look, I'm not into this anymore, I want to leave you because you've done something, based on the terms and the reasons for divorce. But the husband is like, I'm not doing it.
Well, that's fine. You can go and get she can still file for her papers. And once she filed her papers and have him served with those documents, he has a certain period of time within which to answer. He has 8 days within which to issue a memorandum of appearance, and he has 14 days after that to issue his answer and cross petition once he is seen as a lawyer. If he can fight for the divorce, he can fight for the divorce to be stayed, and she's going to fight for the divorce to be for the courts to accede to the divorce, and that is what you would also call a contentious divorce. Now it's up to the court, based on the evidence given by the two parties, to be able to say, okay, well, we're going to grant this divorce, or we're not going to grant this divorce. Okay.
All right. So here's another question: is there a marital health consultant who specializes in divorce that helps the person think through the logistical, emotional, and parenting issues?
That's you, Trish.
That is it.
That sounds like you. Because when you come to the lawyer,
but let's get
we're on a different level.
Yeah, because they ain't trying to.
But it's time.
I can tell you now, honestly, and this is why, and I admire Nadia for this. I don't know if you do this as well, but Nadia said on her show, she said that there were on the show when she was there. She said there were times that I had to step in and say, "Look, y'all work it out. Let's talk about it. I mean, this is trivial. I mean, let's da 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 da." Well, she doesn't have to.
No, she doesn't.
But that's something that she doesn't. You don't have to.
Right.
Let
me talk about that. On numerous occasions, I have one of the things that I normally ask my persons who come into my office, my clients, I always ask them, have you considered counseling? Marriage counseling. And in fact, I've kept one or two numbers of persons who I would say, go to this particular person. I don't know if Dr. Thompson mind me calling his name, but
that's
I would
fine.
say, go to Dr. Thompson. He's right there on in the back by the hospital in that area. Gloves and clothes, I think you call it, or something like that. And just make an appointment to see him and see if you guys can work it out. I've had one or two other persons that I've sent them to before. And I also sent a number of women to the Women's Crisis Center. A number of them I have referred to the Women's Crisis Center. There's a lady I used to call a lot. God rest her soul, Donna. She's now passed, but I used to call and say, Donna, I have someone I want to send to the Women's Crisis Center, because there are sometimes that there are some issues that they need to deal with, and then the Women's Crisis Center, because they would normally they would call in the entire family, even right down to the children. Yes, to see if they could work out these issues or air out these issues to assist.
I strongly advise the person that asked the question to see a therapist. I don't deal with the trauma part. That's a therapist that does that. I do the coaching part. From where you are to where you want to go. So after you've healed, then you can come to me, because I don't want to go and bring up the past. That is not my job. My job is to bring you forward, not to bring you back from whence whatever the issues are. So I also have therapists that I can recommend as well. I'm not going to share it online right now, but I'm actually going to have an individual. One of the persons I recommend is going to be coming on the show shortly. And so for the person that is inquiring, I'll speak with you after the show So, Sharita, guess what?
Mm.
Our time is coming along and moving along, but we do need a part two because I want you to continue on with some of the things that the other requirements of having a reason for divorce. Right? I don't know why
I think we went through
we
all
went
of
through
them.
all.
Even the one with the animal, yes, we've gone through all.
Yeah, that's that one was for beats. And so someone is asking, what is the cost for your consultation? By the way, she consulted y'all free today. All right, that this was free consultation. But seriously, are you able to share that on air?
I
Just
don't
reach
really
out to her.
like to, but yeah.
Reach out to her. Would you like to share your contacts?
Yes, my office number is 677-9418. It's Temple Law Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
My lovely secretary Tamika would definitely look in my diary and be able to give you a time as to when I'm available for consultation.
And if you don't mind, this doesn't have to be you, but just an average. What is the average cost of getting a divorce?
It depends because there are two parts to the divorce.
Mhm.
The first part is going up as far as the decree lie. Some lawyers don't go beyond that. They don't do the ancillary matters.
Mhm.
Ancillary matters is when the war really starts.
Mm.
The gloves really come off. Sometimes they're able to agree. Sometimes they're not able to agree. That's dealing with the kids. That's dealing with with the assets. That's looking
Yeah.
at that maintenance.
That's why I want you back
etc.
because we didn't get over the assets and who gets what and all this type of stuff.
Right. And
Yeah.
so roughly you can spend up to 5,000 starting off for a divorce.
Starting at
Yes.
5,000.
Yes.
But
I've
Grace,
known
some
some
of y'all ain't
divorces
even
that's
pay
gone up.
$5,000 for your wedding.
I've
For
known some
goodness
divorces
sake.
that has gone up to 20, 30,000.
Ooh,
So
child.
yes.
Ooh. So and now let's get a little bit more into who Sharita is. If you were to give a piece of advice to someone who's contemplating divorce right now, woman or man, what would you tell them?
The first thing, I always ask, like I said, I always ask my clients whether they have considered counseling first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that marriage has been ordained by God.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know, Adam and Eve, the family was in the garden and ordained by God long before the church or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I feel as if the first thing they should do is to seek God with regards to whether this is where they really want to go. And if there is no possibility of reconciliation, if there's no possibility of reconciliation, then yes, my services are available. But I always try to get persons to see their priest or their pastor first.
I love that. I love that. All right. So real quick before we transition, I just want to get the talk to the audience moment. We have with us in studio some beautiful ladies that will be talking about an event that's coming up. Just before I do that, I want to say, Matthew chapter 19 verse 6 says, what God has put together, let no man separate.
Mhm.
And no man, that can mean any entity that is trying to cause division and separation of your home. Remember that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. So the physical being is being used by the spirit operating in that person. So in actuality, when you think that you're fighting this person who is dealing with adultery, even though you have legal grounds and means to deal with that, I would always recommend not couples. Well, couples, yeah. But the person that would reach out to me to go and consult, as Sharita stated, consult God to find out what he wants you to do. Because even in situations like that, that person may have messed up once. That person may have messed up twice. That's on you. That's between you and God. Now, God isn't going to say, oh, I'm going to force you to be in this marriage. No, but he might just say, look, I think it was who said it was Peter or Paul that asked Jesus, how many times should I forgive? Right. And Jesus was Peter. And Jesus said 70 times 7. So in that, you have an opportunity not to be a fool, no, but then you have an opportunity to forgive and to show love as Christ forgave. Now, once again, I'm not saying that we're not talking about those who are being abused abused physically or whatever have you, to say, oh, you need to stay in this marriage or whatever have you. No, that's not what I'm saying. If you are being abused physically, if you're being abused in any way and you feel as if this is a detriment to your life, I would advise that you separate, you go somewhere else until there is some safety or security, or that person has been stabilized mentally, because that's the issue. And then you understand that you're working with forces. All right. So when you fight, even the trivial fights, the reason for irreconcilable differences, right? The trivial ones, you understand that, hey, there's something going on with this person, with my spouse. This is not them on an average. This is not how they were. There's something, even if it's pride, even if it's little things that they do or that they never used to do before, and you're starting to see these different things, you can't really necessarily blame the person. You can't just say, okay, I want a divorce just because this is what I'm seeing right now. All right, I would advise, especially for those who are believers, please consult God, find out what the Bible is saying regarding this individual, and go after it. You have to fight for your marriage. You have to fight. You have to kick the enemy out of your marriage. If you know for a fact that God has brought you together, I personally believe, and Sherita may disagree, I don't think that every marriage God has ordained. I don't think that every marriage God has placed together. I believe that there are people who deliberately say, I'm going to go and mess up this person's life. I am coming in to do what I have to do and just destroy the trajectory of their life. All right. And some instances we suffer because we don't have the knowledge and skills to know that, hey, I need to consult my Heavenly Father first before I make any ultimate decision when it comes to my life. If you seek first His kingdom, then everything else that you need will be provided for you. If you seek first His kingdom, especially as a single person, see, I tell you, I'm looking out for my singles, then you would be able to identify some of the red flags before you say I do. So you don't have to go looking for Nadia and Sherita. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it require that you see, no matter what it is, not sometimes, you seek God concerning your marriage, no matter where you are in your marriage. Consult Him, allow Him to minister to you and tell you what to do. The instructions that you need can help build. It can either, if you don't listen, of course, it will destroy. All right. Name that one issue right now. This is my challenge for the listening audience. That one issue with your spouse. I know it may be many, that's okay, but name that one. And I want you to think, is this issue greater than God? Is the spirit operating in that individual greater than the Almighty God? Think about it. Now, because you identify what that is, whatever it may be, now I want you to go to the Heavenly Father, the one who created your spouse, and you talk to Him about it. But I can tell you, let me give you a little hint of what He's going to do. He's going to tell you, look, I have given you the power and authority to trample over snakes and scorpions and over all the powers of the enemy, and nothing shall by enemy. I have given you the keys of the kingdom. So whatever you bind on earth is bound on heaven. Whatever you loose on earth is loose in heaven. I have given you the feet to trample over on these walls and all these different things and these mountains. I have told you that if you have faith that's little as a mustard seed, that you could tell a mountain move. All right. So you have been given the tools and the equipment that you need to break down whatever forces that may be going in your marriage right now, whether it be financial forces, whether it be adultery, whether it be whatever it is, the perversion, fornication, whatever it is, whatever the issue is that's going on right now, you have the ability to destroy it. Yes, you. And especially the women, of course, we have men listening too, but my women, I want y'all to know in 1 Peter chapter 3, your answer is right there. He said, if you submit to your own husband, okay, without saying a word, you can win him over to God. You have the power. He's giving you these things. But you know what the issue is with us as women? We just falter. We don't have this tenacity. We don't have the stickability. We don't have the wherewithal to continue to fight. You know, with fighting, it requires strength, of course, and grace from God. And it's okay to ask for it. You have to ask for these things. You have not because you ask not. Okay. And so I don't want you to give up. Not yet. I want you to go to God first and let him give you the instructions. Sometimes I know somebody crying. I could feel it now. Sometimes God would say, try again. Do it again. Give him another try. You can do this. My daughter, I have given you the ability to help change him, to turn his life around. Your gentle and quiet spirit can change him. The way that you conduct yourself in your chase actions can transform my son. It will take your actions to get him to me. And I can tell you one thing, once you have a man who's focused on God, you ain't got to worry about nothing else. That's the least of your worries, because the love that exudes between him and Jesus will automatically come to you. Y'all, anything else after that, the little kinks and stuff, y'all go work out on your own, because the Bible give you all the instructions how to deal with when you have issues, when you having disagreements. Don't let the sun go down in your anger and all these other things. And, a gentle answer turneth away wrath. These things that you should know. So that'll help you to have a successful marriage. You don't have to go to the divorce court. You don't have to go. I mean, I ain't trying to take money out your mouth. I ain't trying to take bread out your mouth. But you don't have to go see Sherita. You have a Heavenly Father. And in that, he can actually lead you to people who you need to go to. Because that's what they're here on this earth for. To help you. Go seek advice from professionals. All right, who can to mediate issues pertaining to what's happening now. Don't just be so selfish and I don't want nobody to know my business. Okay, then let's see how that works for you. All right, you have to. And somebody said to me one time, oh, well, I want to do this, but he doesn't want to go. Okay, so if he doesn't want to go, you go. Work on you. That counselor or in a moment of time, that coach or whoever you have at that moment may just be, now that's where I come in. Now, if you want to work on you, I can work on you. Okay, how do I get from where I am now to where I want to go? How can I deal with, I want to write a book, but I'm being distracted by my husband. I'm being distracted by what he's doing to me and all these different things. That's where I come in. But there are other people. I'm not trying to sell me. I'm just saying. All right. But you're going to have to find a mediator, somebody to help to guide you, because I don't want you to live this life and you're just wasting days and wasting time because you're in a state of despondency. All right. Every marriage goes through hills and valleys. There is no perfect marriage. None. Don't ever look over to the neighbors and think that the grass is greener. And even if it looks that way, I want you to know that that neighbor put in the work. That neighbor had to spend some money for fertilizer. They had to invest, okay? The beautiful green grass didn't just sprout overnight. It didn't just sprout out overnight. It took time. And building a strong marriage takes time. It takes patience. Just because he's doing something continuously doesn't mean that you don't have the grace, because God has given you the grace to deal with it. It's just that you're just so impatient. And everything is a nuisance to you. Everything is annoying to you. But let's think about the things that he's doing right. Let's think about the good qualities that he has and stop being ungrateful. I can stop there because we have our guests behind us. But if you do need coaching in any area of your life, including premarital, I love the premarital coaching. They mean so much to me. We have so many different tools to use for the premarital couples. All right, that we can use to help you with the finances, with the how many children you want to have, the family planning rather, with your different spirituality, like different denominations. This person want to go to church. Do I come out of my church to go to his church? There are things that you can do. He has his, and you will have yours, where y'all answer those questions. Surveys, and you answer those, then we come back together and then we go through each and every one of them, and I coach you through each and every one of them, and they've been so helpful. I can tell you. You able to see some red flags? I promise you. Okay. All right. So if you want further information on how to stand even when you feel abandoned, or how to build a relationship, please go to my website, www.yourlanelifecoaching.com, and schedule a booking. I would love to help you improve your life and your relationships. All right, so now we're going to have with us the Becoming Women's Empowerment Summit to be able to take a break so that we could transition. I want to thank you so much, Sherita, for your presence, your knowledge, your the everything that you brought here.
Thank you for
I mean,
having
it
me.
was wonderful. Oh, you coming back though? You coming back, sweets? All right, you're coming back because, like I said, there's still land and all these different things that we need to discuss and talk about. What happens after divorce, and what happens if he wants to come back? I mean, what if they try to restore their marriage in some way? Are you a part of that? Do
No.
they have to come back to you? No.
No.
Okay. Good.
They go back to the priest.
They go
or
back to the priest.
pastor.
So what about, because they have legal issues, legal matters that are pending, perhaps.
Well, it depends. Where are you talking about? Are you talking about when um, they, they've started the divorce process and we've gotten
process,
maybe
and
we've
then
gotten
some-
as far as to decree nisa? You could actually have that reversed. There's a section in our act where you can actually have it reversed,
Lord, I pray for
especially
reverse.
especially legal separations with regards to legal
Yeah,
separations,
especially when these days, even though it may seem, I mean, based on what you're saying, nothing based on the law is petty, because you have to come with some evidence, you have to come with some proof, and there's a lot of hurt going on with people. And I can't just say women, even though it's a women's show. People are hurting. People are hurting, and in most cases, I'm hearing it's normally because of adultery. Because
Yes.
this
It's
I'm
very prevalent in the Bahamas. It's
very-
been prevalent in the Bahamas for quite some time.
quite some time. We talking about that at another time, because that's a someone says, I do agree all marriage is not ordained by God. Tried so many years being faithful to a continuous unfaithful husband. When he walked out after 30 years, I believe God set me free. Amen. I mean, that's between you and God. Yes, not every marriage is ordained by God. All right. So thank you so much, Sherita, for being here.
Thank you for having
May
me.
God continue to bless you and
you.
everything out the work of your hands. All right, let's take a break beats and let's bring over our guest. Mhm. Oh, can you do the they're in? Okay, good. The gas on the link. Okay, you too. Thank you. I can't get my straw. Y'all good? Everybody good?
Hi, yeah.
If anyone knows anything about who's listening right now, who knows anything about this particular event, and you are available, if you are available to come to this event, you want to call in. The number to call is 328-8164, 328-8164. We can accept your call now while we're on a break, and the ticket is yours. The very first caller to call in, and you want to come to this life-altering, life-changing event,
We're not going back on air, right?
just for 1 minute. I just want to get this out, and then everything else will be on Facebook.
With Coach Trish.
Who's on more? Who's on more?
We have 5 minutes on air and 10 minutes.
What I mean?
Yeah. Welcome back. Wasn't today's show enlightening? Oh my goodness. Y'all look out for a part 2 flyer, okay? Because we'd have to come back because there's so many different things that we have not uncovered as yet. And so we definitely want to make sure that she comes back so we could talk about the various who gets what when it comes to divorce. And of course, once again, we're not pushing the issue here. We just want to make sure that you are properly informed. All right. So we have with us in studio the Becoming Women's Empowerment Summit founder, Anita Roll, and with her guest, Miss Major.
How are you?
I'm good. Anita, you good?
I'm awesome today.
So your first name?
Denise.
Denise Major. We have Denise Major and Anita Roll in studio with us. And then who do we have on the live? Niambi. All right. So we're going to wait for her to get in. But Anita, you on air? You're live.
You live.
Oh, I live.
You
Okay,
live.
all right.
How you doing, honey?
For the
Child,
Listen
I
to
telling
me.
you.
So talk to us, Anita. Talk to us about this event that you founded and what inspired you to put this on.
Well, this is going to be a fabulous time for women to come out, to be inspired, motivated, and transformed. And this event was actually birthed from my passion for helping women in general and actually giving them hope in overcoming all adversities. You know, as women, we go through so much things in life, and sometimes, like I say, life just be life in. And it gets out of control sometimes. We can sometimes tend to make poor decisions, etc. And sometimes we give up on our goals and our purpose and what we need to be doing, and also lose our way. So becoming is all about overcoming to become all that God has called you to be.
Wow.
You know, stepping into your purpose, moving forward, and continuing to pursue the goals and the things that you have, your passions and your purpose. And I am so fortunate to have some of the best in their various professions who have actually given up their talents and coming on to actually be as speakers for this event.
Let's talk about some of the guests, because I mean the speakers and the panelists now. Who do you have on now? I know who you have on, because child, these people juicy. Their information, in most cases, most of them I've been to various summits and conferences, and when they speak, like I'd be like, oh yeah, I on fire, I ready to go.
That's right. Trust
They
me.
come and you have some. I know a few who speak internationally. You know,
definitely.
and
Most
so I
definitely.
want you to tell us a list of the persons who will be at this conference and speaking at this summit.
Okay, well, we have DeQuesta Dean, Simone Bowe, Marissa Mason-Smith, Shirley Pender, Dr. Naomi Campbell. They will be the primary speakers, and then we're also going to have a very provocative segment we're calling it Survival versus Love. Okay, so that
nice.
Yes, and in that segment we're going to have Denise Major, Kendini Campbell Moss, Chelsea Johnson, and Alicia Roll.
Okay. So guess what? Just while you were coming in, because we was waiting on you for a little while, Nita. While you were coming in, I gave the opportunity for persons to call in to win tickets to go to this event. Now, how many tickets you giving away today?
Two.
So we're gonna give one to one and one to the other. We give one online and then one during our Facebook. They can WhatsApp for the next. Because after you talk, I think everybody gonna try calling. But we already have someone calling in studio. Your Lane Talk Show. Good afternoon. Hi, how are ya? How may I help you today? Why you on Wednesday's tickets though?
It's actually my birthday. That's the next day, the 25th. We say the lineup of, these ladies.
Yeah.
I want to sit in that audience, and that is a must.
And who am I speaking to?
Tonya Seymour.
This is a great birthday gift.
This is an awesome. Listen to me. I must sing because I wasn't coming. But I want to hear more. I trying to find a way.
You need to be there.
I need to be there.
Yes.
I don't know. But Tonya, thank you so much for calling in. The ticket is yawns.
Happy birthday.
And
happy birthday, Tonya.
Because we say yawns, we don't say yours, right? Right. So the ticket is yours. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. And then if you're gonna stay, we're gonna give you an opportunity to tell you how to come and collect the ticket. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations. All right. So we have you said you name your speakers, and then you the topics, of course. Like, tell me that one, but the panelists. Tell me about that. But the love versus something. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I will tell you, you need to be there. That could be juicy.
That could be juicy.
You gotta be there.
Okay, you gotta be there. Child, she ain't telling me nothing.
You
She tight lip.
You gotta be there.
All right.
You
So
gotta
where
be
is
there,
it going to
Trishawn.
be? Give me the date again. Give me the ticket price.
It's going to be at the National Training Agency on Sunday, September 24th at 3 p.m. So it's going to be a lovely Sunday afternoon. We're taking off the layers. So we're going to have, let me reintroduce myself as one of the topics. We're going to have Nyambi talking about level up. You know, it's all about the mental health. You know,
Yes.
what you think, what you believe is what you will achieve. Who you think you are is what you will be. It's all about claiming who you are, walking in your authenticity.
Guess what? We have two of your speakers on now.
Duquesne will be talking about overcoming and thriving.
And Dr.
Yes,
Miami.
yes.
I want them to tell me a little something because you tight lip. I don't know if I get anything out of them. But let's see. Let's start with Dr. Naomi. Is she on now? See if she's gonna. Hello there.
Hi, good evening.
Sorry. Okay, let's get to
Nyambi.
I'm sorry. Dr. Nyambi?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hello, how are you?
My connection is going in and out for some reason.
Your connection. Okay, so let me just, if you don't mind, then, because due to time, we're gonna go to Takasa. I have witnessed Takasa speak. I've heard her even on our sister show on Guardian Talk a few times. We've shared a platform together, and she is just phenomenal. Now, Takasa, between me and you, with girls, right? I want you to give me a little sample about what you'll be talking about, because Anita ain't telling me. Because I can need somebody to talk, and it better be you. So the Takasa, talk to us. Tell us a little bit about what will be taking place and what you'll be talking about.
Well, I'm actually talking about relationships under the guise of overcoming and thriving, because the first relationship we really should focus on building is the one that we have inside of us. A lot of times we feel that we're victims in life and that things are happening to us. We believe that the world is against us and people aren't giving us opportunities. And anytime something happens, we play the victim card. Well, I'm coming to disrupt that on September 24th, because we need to understand the role that we play in creating our lives. We need to understand that decisions direct destinies, and it's all about making the right decisions, the right relationships. How do you identify your own personal values to build relationships? Every single thing stems from inside of you, inside of us, and we have to own that. You know, it's very easy, and I've been there in a place of victimhood where I thought the world was against me and just kept going in this rat race on this same circle, just couldn't figure out how to get off this circle. And it wasn't until I went through a process of inner evolution, which means that I had to go inside of me and inspect my beliefs and to determine why I believe the things that I believe, and to determine if I wanted to continue learning those things, and how do I build my foundations. My foundation to build concrete relationships, because those relationships also impact the trajectory of our lives, the one with God, the one with our families, the one with our friends, every single relationship. So we're going to blow up some dynamite.
I didn't see that. I have you all to know. Takasa tell me all kind of stuff, and this was the bomb. Because Anita was tight-lipped, but Takasa gave me a little sample, and I appreciate that. I come in.
You better be there.
Who I give my ticket to, I want it back. All right. But Denise, let's say a little bit about what you'll be talking about on that Sunday.
Well, for our survival versus love panel, we'll be unpacking most of the issues that the other panelists were doing. So we're getting deep, we're getting dirty, we're getting to the core of the matter. So we are prepared to unmask, shed some tears, laugh, love, cry, get angry, but we're just going deeper into it, unpacking why we do things we do in relationships.
Wow, I love
survival versus love.
Woo, I love that. And that's what we need, man. And you obviously an opportunity for people to ask questions at the end. That is wonderful. Wonderful. So Anita, just in wrapping, can you tell us again when is the event, what time it's going to be, what are the tickets, and how the price on the tickets, and how can people obtain those tickets?
Okay, the event will be held on Sunday, September 24th at 3 p.m. at the National Training Agency. Tickets can be purchased at the Nassau Guardian, Carter Street, Oaksfield, or Essence Med Spa, number 15 Bradley Street, Palmdale. The cost of the tickets are $50, and of course, Most importantly, it's all for a good cause. Proceeds will be donated to the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group. So I anticipate seeing all of you ladies out there come out, have some fun. Like I said, share the load and be inspired.
I love that. I love that. But don't go, because I'm going to cut off from the radio and then we're going to continue with Facebook real quick, because you said something that is so important. You said the proceeds are going. Is it all 100% proceed? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's juicy.
After expenses are covered. Yeah. So
okay.
Proceeds, yes.
So that you see that? So you are investing in yourself, but investing in someone else.
And that's very important.
And that's extremely important.
Exactly.
All right. And it ain't going home with the money and going on Shein and them to go on no dress.
No.
All right. That's going.
You have to be a blessing.
To be
blessed.
I love that. I love that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sign off. I want to thank those who have been with us for the entirety of the show. Today's show was brought to you by Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, John Schuster and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, and Bahama Odds and Ends Party Supplies. Thank you to my producers, Odessa, Francis, and Beats. You've been good. You've been real. Thank you to my Facebook audience. Y'all been lit. Y'all been asking them questions, but I ain't gonna lie, right? And we're gonna give an opportunity for one of the Facebook audience, the listeners, or anyone that is listening via radio. You have to do it now, though. The number to WhatsApp is 376-8689. The very first person says, "I want a ticket, please." The ticket is yours. The ticket will be yours. 376-8689. So I hope you all were blessed. Those who were watching, I pray that you were all empowered, educated, and encouraged today. And until next time, happy Sunday, everyone.
Yeah, how you doing? Look at you, man. Play with you.
All right, so back on Facebook, real quick, Anita. You said that the proceeds that people are giving, we're still on Facebook. You're on Facebook Live. You're off of the radio. Is that the proceeds are going somewhere else? Say where it's going again.
The proceeds are being donated to the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group to assist fellow survivors. I myself am a 12-year survivor in need. You know, a lot of survivors do not have insurance and they need medical funding. So it's never enough.
That's important.
Yeah.
I want to do this giveaway now. Let's see what we have here. The giveaway. No, the first one. Okay. All right. I can't even say your name on here. So we have the ticket giveaway. Someone says, "I won the book." Y'all forgot to put the please there, but that's okay. The ticket is yours. The ticket is yours. I'm gonna WhatsApp you and I'm gonna let you know how you can obtain that ticket. Thank you so much for tuning in. So Anita, Denise, DeQuessa, and Nyambi, but Nyambi is off now. I think she's having technical difficulties. You have been awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and may God continue to bless the work of your hands. I've seen, and I can only share about what I see. I've heard what you do, and you've been a blessing to women.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a blessing, a blessing.
Yeah.
You have to be. Can you share a little bit of it so the people who are listening will know what you do, just briefly, and then we sign off from
by
there.
profession, a sexual rights and health educator. So I work with women and girls of all ages, helping them know their rights, where to go, how to get services, how to access services, and be educated on every component of their lives.
Oh, we're gonna have her on the show on your lane, eh? We're gonna have you get used to it. This the mic, that's where the chair is. That's the lighting there. You will be back.
I look forward to it.
Yes, all right, because we need to know. We need to know. So thank you to Kessa, of course. Kessa is always. I've never heard anything that she said that I haven't been a blessing from or obtained nuggets from or something from her. She's phenomenal.
She's off
Your
change.
guest list is phenomenal. The speakers are phenomenal, and I know that you were God-led choosing those people.
Most definitely.
And I know that it's going to be you're going to have a wonderful time. You're going to have a wonderful time. And people are going to get everything that they need to get. And so may God continue to bless you once again. And thank you so much for being a part. And thank you so much for donating the tickets. We have one for the radio and one for WhatsApp. And we'll let them know that they can obtain their prizes. If you're still listening, you can obtain your prizes at the Nassau Guardian. And you have to bring an ID, please. That's the only way you can get it. And because it's from your lane, we want you to take a picture with the ticket in your hand. I like accountability, buddy. I like accountability. All right. So God bless you and blessings to each and every one of you.
Same to you, Trish. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.